So we're here, and we're waiting for peeps, which is fine. I have to say, I really love doing these hangouts. Simply because, as I think I mentioned on TikTok when I do them, they're wildly popular. The last one, we never had less than 150 people in the room. And we fielded something like 1,800 questions. Now, they weren't 1,800 different ones, but they were comments. And sometimes when people want theirs answered and they're not going to take no, they just repeat them every 10 seconds. And, I'll tell you, when we see that, myself and my communications master, Chris Losey, the Blue Rose Mystic who helps me with these things, we will ignore you because that's like a little 3-year-old having a tantrum. You got to see me, you got to see me, you got to see me. And what you don't realize is they're flashing past so fast that we have to depend on what spirit brings to our attention. And someone else's question, frankly, may be more important for them to get answered than your 14 questions about, is Todd cheating on me? There you are. All right, I see 2 eyeballs. So if you're here, hello, put something in the comment. Let me know that you're here. Because what this is not just me sitting here and pontificating for an hour. That bores me to tears. What this is a chance for all of us to sit and talk. And I know a couple of my favorites said that they were going to hang out today. Good morning, Miss Marcia. Hopefully one of them is going to be Pat Dumas, who is my buddy astrologer, best one I've ever known, and a dear friend. Also, we've got someone who used to be on Kasamba with me 25 years ago and hangs out with us as well. So, Marcia, I don't know if you have hung out with us before. Let me know how you found me. Are you a regular over on TikTok or what? And what brings you here today? Because this is really a chat, a dialogue among all of us. That is why I have my very, very big mug of tea. So I'm also always interested where you're from, because I'm here in upstate New York, tip of the Catskill Mountains. And when I know that I'm reaching people from other areas, that's very cool. So looking at the hair, I'm so glad I'm going to see my hair wizard this week. That gray is coming in way too hard and fast. And this week is going to be interesting. There, now that's one of my nestlings. Now, what's a nestling? I have a Patreon group. Thank you, Marcia. That tells me. And it is known as Corby's Nest. It's not just we sit together once a month and I pontificate, because like I said, that's boring. I have lots of teachers that come in. We work together. I'm teaching people how to do what I do. And these days it's important. It's tribe. It's small. I think right now we have somewhere between 10 and 15. And a lot of people say, well, you could get it a lot bigger. It would pay you. And that's not the point. It truly is tribe. And we had someone recently who joined for 3 months and then left. Didn't like the content. We were doing too much of this and not enough that. And when I asked everybody in the nest, they said, no, you're doing exactly right. So that just told me that this person wasn't a good fit. It's not, you have to believe the way we do. It's nothing like that at all. But the whole point is, it's not just learning metaphysics, spirituality, psychic stuff. It's being there for each other. And that's so important these days. You know, Marcia, you're living in Kansas. I don't know what your politics are. I don't know how what's been going on for the past few weeks has hit you. But what I will ask is, are you okay? And is there anything that you need help with in terms of emotionally, anything like that? Hey, Keith, because that is also why I do these. We need to stick together now. We need to know that we're not alone. I mean, look, I admit it, I live in a ultra Republican, gun-toting, Trump-loving county. Me, I am a left-leaning, fading hippie, yellow dog progressive Democrat. Always have been since I could first vote in 1976. So I feel very isolated up here. Patreon, TikTok, here is a place where I know I can reach out to others who understand how things go, who want to reach out in community, who believe in inclusion, not exclusion, who believe in what America was supposed to stand for. Keith, you're absolutely right. There have been so many ups and downs. It's been a roller coaster, no breaks. But that's why over on TikTok, even though I bill myself as the no bullshit psychic, these days there is a lot of, if you will, tribal comfort, understanding, reassurance, giving courage, because we're going to need that. What we are going through now is something that I think they called the extinction burst. No, we're not all going to die. That's not what that means. But the idea is that the old way of doing things in America, the patriarchy, white is best, Christian is best, women are subservient, that's leaving. Also, it is projected that within 20 or 30 years, whites will be in the minority. That terrifies the folks that are in control now, which is why they invented Project 2025. And Trump, as we are finally seeing, has been a Russian agent for 30, 40 years. It could be that the universe felt we needed to have this craziness, this breakdown of everything in order to wake up the vast majority of America and say this will not stand. Because if we just kept going on the same way we were, and that was nibbling around the edges, we'd be like the frog in the pot. That's the old philosophy that you put a frog in a pot and you slowly turn up the heat. By the time he realizes he should have been out of there, he's dead. So this is the whole point behind an extinction burst, is they're cornered, they're fighting, they think they're winning. But if they were, there wouldn't be as many of us saying no. There would not be as many people fighting it. People are comparing him to Hitler, but, and no, I'm not saying Hitler was good. Trust me on that one. My father was with the occupation army in Vienna in 1946, and he was a doctor at the 110th Station Hospital, and he had to take care of patients who really would have rather seen him as a lampshade or a bar of soap, not a Jewish doctor. So, but you see, Hitler was smart because the first few years he was in power, he made things look really good for the vast majority of Germans. Whereas these yutzes are destroying everything like toddlers having a ketamine tantrum. So they can't point to anything that they've done better, even to their normal base, because we've all seen online letters, Trumpers saying, I voted for you, I thought this was great, but now I'm losing my farm, now I got fired, now my husband's being deported, that's not fair, can't you fix it? And of course, they're not going to, because now that Trump has the vote, these guys are just collateral damage. And because he thinks he won't need a vote, He thinks he's going to find a way to stay in office for life. He's not even looking ahead. On the other hand, what's good is that the Republicans are seeing that they're toast in the midterms. Now, a lot of people are saying, why aren't there any Republicans standing up to him? And it is because they're afraid for their lives. They're afraid for their families. Because Proud Boys, the really crazy ones that I call the Stormtroopers, the cult 45, 47, they threaten them with death. They leave rape messages for their spouses. They say, we know where your children go to school. Now, my thought is, when Trump is out of the picture, however that happens, it'll fall apart further because, as we saw, J.D. Vance does not have the same charisma. He doesn't. The Trumpers will not follow him the way they follow Trump. He can't use threats as well or as easily as Trump does. So this will not be forever. Know that. But for now, we have to hold it together. We have to try and make sense of it, and we have to keep our eye on the fact that there will be a brighter tomorrow, which sounds like a cliche, but I mean it. So what are all your thoughts on this, guys? I've been chatting for a while now. I'd like to hear yours. We've got 5 here. Kelly, Marcia, Keith. So we got a couple of lurkers. Now, this is not all going to be about politics. If you have questions on metaphysics, spirituality, psychic work, even me, if you want to ask me anything about me, if I'm not embarrassed to have it out in public, yeah, I'll say. Because this is just a time to be with each other. So, yeah, I'm sitting here quiet because I want to hear from you. Usually there are 1 or 2 people that constantly have 11:11. Yes, it is at 11:11, which angel number, new beginnings. So it's the beginning of hearing from you. Angels have been coming up a lot lately. I see them a little different than spirit guides. They are spirit guides, but they don't change as our guides change as we grow. We all have at least 1 angel with us from birth to death. And I know that things are... Hi, Denise Lynn. Why do I only have 2 thumbs up? I have no idea. But you see, there's a little eyeball right up here. Shows live, shows how we're going out, shows how long I've been there, and a little eyeball with 5. So some people lurk. Some people just want to see, what can I get? What do you got for me? And you know, that's okay. That's okay. The people who know me pretty well, like Keith, like, who else is here? Kelly Mahoney. They know how I work and how I talk. So, you know, they pop in. They give chats. The other thing is, I'm not necessarily going to say the kind of things that people want. This is literally, we all got to hang out and be who we are. 2 people have dropped out. Okay, that's fine. I do this because I don't know an awful lot of public psychics who make themselves this available just to talk. You know, it's very much like if you went on Star Trek The Cruise and a lot of the stars, the actors, they do have chats like this, which the fans love because it's not just seeing them on screen, paying $100 for an autograph and a 5-second photo op. As long as I have the time, the brain power to do this, I want to do this because people rarely get to talk to psychics about the backdoor stuff. Okay? When I say backdoor, it's like you've got the Star Trek set, you've got the bridge of the Enterprise. But if you go through those doors and go, what happens is you see how the sets are built. That's all the back stuff. Okay? And because I specifically say, I'm not special, you can do what I do. I don't need a mystique or a charisma to hide behind. Am I right all the time? No. Do I always get your dead people? No. Have I done readings for people that were totally off the mark? Of course. I'm human. And as I say, the only one 100% accurate is God, and God is not doing psychic fairs or Zoom readings this week. And I don't think he's live on YouTube either, come to think of it. So this is where I am for you folks. I usually stay on here half an hour, an hour. We'll see how long today. If it's just the three of you, then maybe you're getting what you need. Last time we had a ton of people, and we had an amazing discussion on reincarnation, remote viewing, all kinds of crazy stuff. Don't you feel that we are going to grow more this? We have to, Keith Fletcher. Let me see if I know how to show this to people. Hang on one second. There we go. That's what Keith had to say to me. I think we have to, Keith. Yes, it would be lovely to be able to grow without all the pain we're going to have to go through. But Spirit waited for us to do that, and we didn't. So it's a matter of, you don't learn something in class. You got to go to summer school and miss the fun. It's sort of like that with us. I do think that Americans took their freedoms and democracy for granted. It was the flip side of American exceptionalism. Nothing can touch us. We're America. We're exceptional. No, we're not. We're like every other country. And if you look at things from a historical viewpoint, every century, a new power comes up and flexes its muscles. 18th century was France. 19th century was Britain. 20th century was us. Now, who's it going to be in the 21st? Russia, China, India, Brazil. We don't know. It's too early. But the fact that it's not going to be us gives us a chance to step back, realign, and grow in a different way, which we need. So, yeah. Unfortunately, some of the growth we're going to have to do is going to be as a result of the ketamine toddler destroying things. He wants to take down NOAA, our weather people. There are going to be some events this year that could have been warned about, mitigated. They're not going to be. It's going to be a lot more death and destruction. What about dealing with bird flu, whatever else is coming down the pipe? He is destroying the CDC. We've been pulled out of the WHO. So we don't have the worldwide companionship in the scientific community that kept us safe during COVID. Look at what's happening with measles. With the worm guy as head of Health and Human Services, a lot of what we took for granted is going to go away. Because of the tariff wars and the fact that most of our drugs are made overseas, you're going to have shortages of things as simple as your Advil or your Tylenol, or maybe the medication that you depend on to live. It just won't be there. And if this is what we need to overturn what's happening, Spirit loves us, but it doesn't soften the blow. Just like your parents love you to bits, but if you do something wrong, you have to pay the price. You don't study, you go to summer school. You take the car when you don't have a license, baby, are you grounded? So that's where we're going. Am I happy about what's happening? No. Do I have hope and faith that once we get out of the dark, it's going to be a lot better? Yes. Yes, I do. And I have enormous faith in millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha for making the biggest difference. The cats are fine, Keith. Thank you. For those of you who are new, I have 3. An 8-year-old Maine Coon, a 5-year-old Ginger Ninja Rescue Boy, and an 8-month-old Maine Coon, and they're all nuts. Gabriella, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm an Emmett DB. Here, let me put it up like this. Gabriella, I know everyone else in my family is medical. Dad was a doctor. My brother's a doctor. My mother was a nurse. My nephew is a genius scientist working on stuff that I cannot even pronounce, but making a difference in the world. So that's where we are. Gabriella, you say you're an epidemiologist in the federal government. Tell us whether you are still with the government at this point, or were you one of the ones that got slashed by the ketamine toddler? I know that a lot of us are doing side stuff. There are epidemiologists, there are other doctors that are giving us what news they have. But it is not as easy. It's not as directed as it used to be. If you are still with the government, we are so grateful. We really are. You're still there. God bless you, woman. Let me tell you. Is there anything that you either want to share or can safely share with the 6 of us here? Not sure how long. Yeah. I don't think anybody in government knows how long anymore. So, from what I understand, bird flu is not a human panic danger yet, though it looks like it's on the way. I know for me, because of the whole measles outbreak thing, I'm getting my titers done. For those of you that don't know med speak, they can check your blood and they can tell you whether you have antibodies for measles, mumps, rubella. I think maybe that's German measles, chickenpox. I know I had the mumps. My brother had chickenpox when he was 9, which would have made me 2 or 3, but we don't know. We don't know. Chickenpox, I never got, even though I remember that I was with my niece and nephew and they were crawling all over me, and 24 hours later, both of them came down with chickenpox and I never got it. I don't know. And I don't remember German measles. So get the titer and I will get my shot if need be, simply because at age 70, I don't want to deal with those things. So, Gabriella, what can we, the public, do to support you guys in the middle of the maelstrom? Tell us what we can do for you. Okay. Maybe she'll answer, maybe she won't. I don't know how the rest of you prepared. One of the things that I did starting, yeah, Keith, I don't want it. Trust me. If I escaped it, wonderful. I don't know if I have a natural immunity, but we're going to see. One of the things that I am working on. Oh, I have a big mouth, Gabriella. We will continue to speak out, and I will let people know how important that is. Is I've been pandemic stocking, and so we're relatively safe food-wise. We also live in farming country, so even if there are shortages at your local Kroger's, I know where the farmers live. I can get fruits and veg. But if you are in a place to stock up, I'm going to put it down here. Go look at Azure Standard. Okay? They're a group, organic, healthy, and they ship all over the U.S. We got grains, beans, things like sugar, flour, etc. They have all kinds of stuff there. So if you were looking to stock up your own house, I recommend them. They're really, really good. So I don't think that anybody can be asleep to what's happening, Gabriella. Not now. Even if the New York Times, Washington Post, the legacy media won't talk about it, it is redoing what journalism is. And people on TikTok, anybody that can give you the news there will give you the news. You got to be careful that it's not conspiracy theory stuff, but a lot of people that are on there, like the doctor I follow, who's telling us about recalls and things like that. That's where I found him. There's also Substack, where there are an awful lot of people in the know who are talking about what's going on. Jim Acosta is a guy who left CNN, I think, to tell people, take care, Keith, to tell people what's going on because he couldn't do it any longer at CNN. So he is now doing his own stuff on Substack. He's still interviewing all the people that he would have done at CNN, but he's not being restricted. So Substack is another really, really good place to do it. All right, so we have 3 eyeballs. Keith left, so maybe that's Gabriella. Who else? Maybe Marsha, maybe Kelly. Don't know. Is there anything else that you guys want to cover today? If not, then we can close it out at 11:30. But if there's anything else you want to talk about, I'm absolutely here. Okay? Don't be afraid. You don't have to just lurk. Okay, so I guess that's it. People are starting to leave. So I'll close this out. I do these occasionally on YouTube because it is a little quieter than the craziness on TikTok. But I do them when I feel the need, and today was one of them. So listen, take good care of yourselves. Hang in.